Okay. Do I need more light?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. But our head levels needs to change. So either I got to do this, but then I don't look as close.
Okay, hold on.
There we go.
Hold on. Go back and hold on.
You got it the wrong way.
Well, I needed to get it back because it was bouncing forward. So,
Oh,
okay. A little bit more.
yeah, and I probably need to get closer to the screen too. So let's do this. There we go.
Is that good? You think that'll work?
Yes. Yes, let me see. Need to get me squared in the screen like that.
I know. There's so many little things.
Yeah, you're a lot closer to your screen than me. So I just need to lean forward and
So,
then I need to go like that. Perfect.
okay. All right. So, oh yeah, failure is not required.
Okay, so let me do this. Control copy. I'm gonna drop it in the chat so you have your notes.
Okay.
Uh, Carlton is the founder of systems.
So even though it's not broadcasting live, it's because it's recording, it shows live.
Right.
Okay. This integrated webcam is not super great. Yours is so much more clear.
This is my integrated camera.
No, yours is so much more clear. I'm saying this one on the laptop that I'm using.
Oh,
It's
mine's
it's more
integrated
grainy.
too.
Huh?
I said mine's integrated too.
Yeah.
We could do the settings on that. We could always update that. What's the name of the series? Ah, can I edit? Nope. Oh boy. Uh,
Carlton is the founder of ID Systems, a tech company that provides small business owners with a system to identify and say, oh, geez, sheesh, Louise, and smash through growth roadblocks. Brilliant business book.
okay, so when you get to the book, stop at in the upcoming, author in the upcoming, and then
Okay.
stop. Uh, And my chapter, I don't know how you want to do this. I'm going to put that up there. And now I'm just going to give you information. My chapter titled, I'm going to tell you the chapter title. Oh, there's an introduction that they have here, but it's way too long. Yeah, this is way too long. Chapter. Performance pillar is productivity, right? Okay. So my pillar that I talk about is productivity, because everybody uses the term pillars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the pillar that I talk about in the book, should I tell you the 5 pillars in the book?
People, processes, productivity. I have the 4th volume because
And
remember you,
peacefulness.
yeah, you loaned it to me, so I've seen them.
Yeah, if you want, I could write them here so you can know them, and then say, "Oh, you talked about the productivity, and I think your chapter's titled blah 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 blah." Like just kind of give you the everything around.
Yeah,
it.
let's just roll with this. Let's have some fun. Let's you can put them in there, but
All right, let me just do that really quick. This will take me just a second, and then we can do
I'm
with
aiming
it.
for a conversation with you. So having that will be great, but I have the chapter up because I want to focus more on that.
Okay, cool. Profitability, people, productivity, and peacefulness, right? And then my chapter is and mine is chapter 8. You decide to fail or fall. Both are proven processes. Boom.
Okay.
Do you want me to scroll that at the bottom, or should we just wait? Is there anything you want me to scroll, or should I just leave it the way it is, and we could add it during the playback?
Yeah, let's add it during the playback.
Okay, perfect. What's the name of your segment of this show?
I don't know yet, Carlton. We'll figure that out. I wanted to just kind of see how the conversation would play out.
Okay.
So,
and I will put a banner up to show the name of this segment of the show.
Okay.
So just like brings that in and then goes away so you know where you are. Oh, I'm in the business section. I like that, by the way.
I have been saying that so much these past few days, and he gets it. I mean, he will just start tapping away at the keyboard when I'm like, business. And I was like, take a memo for me, Jordan. So.
See?
All right. Shallow and shalom, y'all. No. Yes.
Oh, don't fall off. Okay.
So it'll be something like that. But no, I'll figure out, introduction, but it's Shanna Mavis, business and, business. I'll figure all of that out. I'm here with Carlton Hoskins, the founder of I Do Systems, an innovative tech company, as well as, and just roll with me, okay? I'm here with Carlton Hoskins, the founder of I Do Systems, an innovative tech company, as well as the upcoming author of, no, it's the upcoming book, isn't it? You're a co-author, upcoming book.
Yep, last line.
This is where you want the 5th and final volume.
Yep, I'll help.
Okay, so I see, because I see Carlton is a co-author in the upcoming book, Brilliant Business Book.
Yeah, when it says co-author in, then drop
The
down to
fifth
the
and
next
final
chapter.
volume. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
Carlos,
So
founder
here with
of
Carlton Hoskins, the founder of ID Systems, an innovative tech company, as well as the co-author in the upcoming fifth and final volume from the international #1 business book series, Brilliant Breakthroughs for the Small Business Owners. It's a mouthful. Carlton, how did you get involved in that? Let's talk about that first.
Stage fright. No, just joking.
It's a secret? Okay.
It's a secret.
We need people to know.
All right. So are we just gonna keep recording and you're just gonna edit what you want, or are we gonna just do it live one shot and get it right?
We'll figure it out. Let's just
cool.
do it. Let's talk.
Let's do it. Let's talk. Let's
talk business.
Business. Thank you for having me here, Shanna. Of course, I'd love to talk about Brilliant Breakthroughs. It's just an amazing book series. This is the final chapter, as you said. How did I get involved in this? Well, I was speaking with some potential partners in our organization in trying to build out our software Pillar 5. And by connecting more experts with the business population, the small business owners, so that they can get all of the expertise that they need. Because as I always say, we only know what we know and we don't know it all. So we always have to collaborate with others. And in this process of collaborating and traveling, I was invited by another author to actually be a part of the book. And at first I was kind of leery on, becoming a part of the book. Not because I had anything against the book series, but I knew how much time I had in a day, and bringing on more work was just not something I was willing to do at the time. And then I spoke with the publisher as well. We went to dinner and the publisher was there, and they invited me into the book as well. And so it was a great opportunity. After more discussions about the marketing and potential, what really made me make the decision, though, Shanna, was I was finally getting to a place where I was going to be around people who could help me clarify my message to the market, because I knew we had, over the last 5 years, built an amazing software. But because I've been so inundated with developing and building the software, that I didn't learn how to communicate what I was doing to the market. And so I figured writing a book would be the best way to do that.
Okay. So let's talk about the book. I went through and I read the chapter, and you've got chapter 8, you said. Chapters titled "You Decide to Fail or Fall." Both are proven processes. So I know, just for business owners, I think about business owners that are reading this. Who is this geared toward? So we can narrow it out. We've all got so much time in the day. It's on average, we're going to read 200 words per minute. You've got 2,500 plus words, so 10 minutes or so. Who is this 10 minutes supposed to be serving?
This 10 minutes was really geared toward business owners that their companies are generating less than $250,000 a year, which puts them in the bracket of a high probability of failing before getting to year 10. According to the Department of Labor, 76% of businesses do so, which leads back to the reason why we even built our company and why we built the software we did. So this was really talking to that audience. It applies to anyone who is under the false mantra that you have to fail forward. You can't achieve success without failing. And that is definitely not something that I believe, and it's not something that our company believes. Failure is not required.
Fantastic. Okay, but the thing about it is that this is a proven process. I mean, you say it in the title, fail or fall. Both are proven processes. So why is it that you're more on the falling forward side of it? If you're saying failure is not required, let's talk about that, because we've got so many business owners that this is what they've been told. I mean, you've got, even in the chapter, since the early 2000s, this is what people have been told. Hey, you've got to fail to succeed. Don't worry about it. Things, if it goes crazy up, you've learned. you know? It's
Right,
not a
right.
failure as long as you've learned. But it
Sure.
actually is if your business ends, right?
Right, absolutely. So, to your point, yeah, they both are proving processes. There are business owners who open a business, close a business, open a business, close a business, and repeats that cycle until one day they open a business that becomes successful, sustainable, and thriving. Then you have others, and that's proven. We could talk about many entrepreneurs that are very well known in the marketplace who tell you they've opened several businesses and closed several businesses in order to get where they are today. On the other side, you have entrepreneurs out there who didn't go through that model of closing and opening new businesses. They just simply fell. They just simply went through hardships, rough times. They stumbled, they hit walls, they fell. And they learned from that mistake, got up, dusted himself off, and kept building the same company. How many versions or iterations of Facebook was there?
Yeah, I don't know.
One, right? He never stopped building the same model he was building.
So,
It just changed over time, but he didn't fail. He didn't stop building Facebook and then build Instagram and then stop building Instagram and build TikTok. And now finally, even if we look at Amazon, Jeff Bezos,
right?
he started Amazon back in the late 1990s, right? And it was a book company. Well, it was called Amazon. What is it called today? Amazon. He stumbled. He made some decisions. He changed his strategy. He took the company and he took it to the next level. But he didn't fail. Fail would have meant he closed Amazon, shut it down, and started something completely different. And he didn't do that. Now, again, both of them are proven because depending on who you're talking to, both models work. The question is, which one does an entrepreneur have to choose? And here's the reality: entrepreneurs don't realize that they can choose because of the 2000 mantra that came in that you have to fail to succeed. And so, in their mindset, I have to start a new company, I have to close it, I have to start another company, I have to. The key word here is I have to. And they don't. There's a choice. They could choose not to do that. Understand that it's a fall and failure doesn't kick in until you close the business down. Fall, learn from your mistakes, pick up, and keep going. We do that when we ride a bicycle.
Okay, so completely vulnerable. How many times have you fallen?
With I do systems, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Uncountable. I can't tell you. I think I fall 2 times a day, to be honest with you. There's constant. There's things that we are good at, and there's things that we are not so good at. Sometimes it's, as I was saying at the beginning, messaging. Been trying to get my messaging right for 5 years. Did I fail? No, because I didn't quit. But it's getting better, right?
Yeah.
So we continue to fall, we continue to improve, and basically falling is learning from the lessons in front of us. We're gonna make mistakes, we're gonna make errors, and we just have to deal with that. And don't kick ourselves so hard that we don't want to continue forward. It's the football. It's the typical football game. I'm not a Cowboy fan, and many people may not like me because I just said that out. But I do. I appreciate what they are. They are the what do they say? The country's national team or whatever. They're America's team, right?
Yeah,
America's
yeah.
team. Well, Dak Prescott goes out there and he throws, and he throws 4 missed passes, but he wins the game. Did he fail? Did he fail in the middle of the game when he threw the bad pass? Did he fail to make a good pass? See, that term fail adds a lot of drama to the context of what we say. And that's why people have used that term, because it just adds more value when you say, oh, I failed 10 times, but now I have a successful business, versus saying, I made a lot of mistakes, I made a lot of errors, but I still built a successful company. It just doesn't sound as good as the nail-biting cliffhanger as you say, I was trying to climb Mount Everest, and it was a sunny day. The snow melted away. There was a clear path that I saw. I just walked right on up the path, got to the top of the mountain. Movie's over. No one's going to see that movie. That's a boring ass movie. No one's going to see that, right? But
Yeah.
if I said it was snowing and the weather changed and the blizzard came and coyotes were chasing me and I slipped on the ice and an avalanche came. See, it's like, oh, all this drama. Oh, yeah. And I finally made it to the top with one finger. It's like, oh, yay. We love underdogs. And so that word failure becomes a term for underdogs to show that we persevered through things. But failure is too harsh of a word because it's a misunderstanding to new entrepreneurs, because the term failure doesn't mean what they're implying. So it's a subjective word.
Well, but I guess in some cases, it means exactly what they're implying. Because a lot of people have started businesses, closed the business, started another business, closed it. They had the time and resources, definitely drive and determination on either side of it. Whether you fail or fall, there's drive and determination that's required, tenacity to, dust yourself off. Okay, I do not want to work for anyone else. I'm going to start a new business. This one didn't work. Maybe it was a product.
Right.
But I've got this fantastic, because you cannot stop people from having, ideas. There are visionaries out there that are just, the ideas never stop. I
Absolutely.
know a lot of people like that. And so they just figure, okay, this one didn't work, so let me move on to the next one. So there is failure in some cases if you choose to take that path. And so I guess for me, I was looking at it more of, the new entrepreneurs that are reading this, recognizing that, that is a distinct possibility if you're not aware of it. I just think about the falling forward. If you're saying, hey, I think, I probably fall twice a day. Um, what it looks like the next time. You're not shutting the doors and just being like, okay, I didn't get this messaging right, no one came to my website, we're just shutting this down. You're looking at that and you're just saying, okay, no, I need to keep getting the messaging right. That's a choice that you're making. I believe in this enough where others are like, well, I've got a million good ideas. If this one doesn't work, I've got another one here. And they're pretty good salespeople. They sell themselves on it and then they sell other people on it, and they just start again. And eventually they've learned enough of these hard lessons that I feel like you're persevering through. They stop at a lesson, you persevere through one. So it really, I feel like all entrepreneurs need to know that as well, that those are choices that you're going to have to make pretty much or at so many different points every day, it sounds like you're saying.
Absolutely. And to your point, um, it's about the purpose. It's about the why, right? If the why is to make as much money as I possibly can as fast as I can, then I'm essentially looking for jobs that pay me quickly, right? So I could be a consultant today and I didn't get a client. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to go into real estate investing and I didn't make any money on that. So I'm going to flip over and do wholesaling. Oh, wait, I didn't make any money on that. So I'm going to go over to overages. Wait, I didn't make any money on that. I'm going to open a Shopify store. Wait, I didn't make any money on that. And next thing you know, you're talking to this person and they're 30 businesses down really quick.
Yeah.
And it's because the why is only money driven. It's revenue driven for them to put money in their pocket. Where when I say committed entrepreneurs, our focus is committed entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs who have a purpose, a why, a reason to what they're doing. It's not just money. Money is a byproduct of what you love. If your purpose and your love and your passion are aligned, success is easy to achieve. And success is even subjective in that sense, because what is success, right? But building a sustainable business and not quitting becomes a whole lot easier if you love what you do. Here's the thing. I like to refer this to children all the time. And I laugh at this because I hear a lot of older folks that will say, oh, I love my grandbabies. And at any time I could call their moms and tell them to come get them and take them home. Right. That's a reality. But the parents can't call no one and say, hey, come take these babies away from me.
Right.
So there's a why, there's a purpose, right? These are my children. So I'm going to take care of them. It's going to get hard. Sometimes there's not going to be food on the table. Rather than me eat, they will eat. Rather than me go homeless, I mean, they go homeless, I'll go homeless. Rather than they go to work, I'll go to work. We'll
Yeah.
put ourselves first to protect them. Well, when we're building a business, it's the same thing. We put ourselves first to protect it and to build it so it can grow roots. It has life cycle stages just like everybody else. And once it can start breathing on its own, then it becomes the great child. It turns around and it starts taking care of you. It starts generating revenue for you. It starts changing your life. But if the purpose of building it is so as to change your life, would be no different than children, so that when you get older, you have someone who could take care of you. That's the bad mindset. It's all in the mindset.
Okay, so first thing, when you started your business, well, how many businesses have you had?
On record, I've had 4 companies.
On record.
Yeah, well, we all
Off the
do
record
these.
company.
Right. Well, we all do these things. I grew up as an entrepreneur. I've had newspaper routes.
Yeah,
I didn't have a business for that. I mean, I called it a business,
yeah,
but technically it wasn't on record, right?
yeah.
Um, um, but all the companies that I've had, I still do the stuff, even though the company isn't there, because I've kind of taken them and internalized them into. I realized over time that they weren't made to be businesses; they were made to be investment vehicles for my own personal wealth. But I was trying to build them into companies because I thought, oh wow, this is going to be an amazing company, and then I realized, wait a minute, this is for me. This is not for me to sell to the world.
Yeah.
And when I heard myself saying that out loud, I was like, oh, but I don't want to do that. And then so I realized that my purpose um, was misaligned. And that will happen. We will misalign our purpose with a vision. And so I did that a few times. Now that we have built over the last 5 years, and here's the kicker. We've been building Pillar 5 for almost 6 years. And we haven't had an official launch yet.
So that's something I think that a lot of people need to know, that you're in it for the long haul. You want most of the people, I think, I know for me, when I'm a visionary, I'm a visionary.
Right.
I see this and it's gonna blow up. This is gonna be and it's not gonna take that long because I've got this great product. I've got all of these things. I know, and with each successive business that I've had, it's that feeling gets stronger.
Right.
So and I don't believe I'm with you. I don't believe in the fail to succeed. I think you fall forward. You know, quit tripping, man. You see it coming next time. It's
Right.
just like, okay, I know what that looks like. But um, I think for a lot of business owners, we don't realize that it is there's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of things that go into it, and really building a sustainable business. That was one of the things I really loved when we first started talking, was the focus was on sustainability. It isn't I'm building a business for this, for pride or to prove something to someone. It really is, I feel like I've got something here. I think it can be amazing and help so many people in this way. I want this to last. I want to see this for generations to come. When that mindset shifts to where you're looking forward like that, um, it's a different conversation that needs to be had. And there's the expectation that it's going to take time for it to last. It's going to take time to build it. You mentioned Jeff Bezos, and again, there's a lot of controversy around who this is, but if we just look at it purely from, he built a business that's still around. It started as one thing, but with the way that the decisions that he and his team of people made, have caused it to, just sustain all of this time. It's changed with the times and as technology allowed it to. So I, I really want a lot of people to hear and understand that this could be, this is a labor of love. This could take some years to get out of one stage to the next, depending on how complex your solution is, how many people you plan to serve. So yeah, man, 6 years, to me, I mean, I've seen companies that were in that state, that aren't even as mature as I've seen yours be, that have been in business a lot longer. They're successful by, even my standards, because I don't have a company that's been in business that long. So there is some measure of success, but to build a sustainable business is going to take you some time to get that foundation right, to get, everything in place.
I love that. And I love where that information is going and how you're speaking to that, because one of the things that we always say around the Pillar 5 software that will eventually come out and we'll talk about more later is that life term in business, or however your length in business, and the amount of money your business makes does not determine the life cycle stage of your business. And so, as you say, many businesses, and I say many, and I'm using that in its true aspect, because according to the Department of Labor, 84.6% of businesses in this country generate less than $250,000 a year in gross revenue. That's gross revenue.
Yeah.
So they may be out there balling with the brand new car. They may have a brand new pocketbook. They may have a brand new pair of shoes on. They may be buying dinner for everybody when they go out. But the reality is, how do they say? Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
They're faking it, right? They're faking it. And my dad always said, if you're going to do something, do it right or don't do it at all. So I don't have time to fake it. My focus is making what I set out to make. And that goes back to what you said as well, aligning with the purpose. If the purpose is to generate revenue, then by some measure of success, many entrepreneurs see themselves as successful because they've accomplished the goal they wanted. They replaced their $30,000, $40,000 job with an $80,000, $90,000 company. So they're successful. I'm successful. I make twice as much as I made than I was working as. So I have a successful business. But there is where the mistake happens in that term. They are successful to their standards, but that business, according to industry standards, is not successful. So they equate their success and the business success as equal. I take everyone back to Bill Gates, and if you didn't know, many people didn't know this, was Bill Gates received a salary from Microsoft annually, $1, right? So many people say, well, wait a minute. If I had that, I would be paying myself 10, 15 million. Different mindset, right?
Yeah.
But he is still the wealthiest one in the United States. So what is the logic? How did he get there? What did he do? He started this in his garage. Back to perseverance. He started it in his garage. Many people may not like Bill Gates. They have a preference over Steve Jobs or vice versa. Let's talk about Steve Jobs. He ran his company. He was a CEO, and he got fired from his own company.
Yeah.
Right? Did he fail?
Nah.
Nope, he didn't fail. Because is it him that fails, or is it the business that fails? Right? The question is, are we building sustainable businesses and successful people, or are we looking to build successful businesses and sustainable people? There's a difference when you look at that from both sides of that equation. And I think what most business owners mistake are, they think that they're building successful businesses, but the measurement of success is personal. If it's success, then it should be associated with an industry. And if it's associated with an industry, there should be some measure of sustainability to it.
Right.
That means if I'm on a plane and the plane falls out the sky tomorrow, will I-Do Systems still run? I've been in business for 6 years. Our revenue is horrible to most companies, right? Many companies say, well, Carl, we make more money than you. Yeah. Let the plane fall out of the sky with you and tell me if you're still alive tomorrow. Will your business be running in the next week or two, right?
Yeah.
Or will your family be fighting over who pays the last bill because creditors are coming? Then let the plane fall out of the sky on Carlton, and what you'll find out is, yeah, everyone will throw flowers, but I-Do Systems will continue to run. The mission and the purpose is is backed by people who believe in what we're doing. And that's the difference. And it's built in a sustainable way. And that's the difference between failing and falling. Understanding that you falling means I need a team to pick me up. When I fail, I can fail by myself.
I like that. I can do bad all by myself.
I do bad all by myself.
Okay, so there was something that I went through and I highlighted some stuff in this book, in the chapter specifically that you wrote. So, erroneously, business owners believe that they are required to wear every hat in their business.
Oh.
Okay, so now I want to challenge that erroneously, because let's think about this. As startups, we are wearing every hat in the business. So
Bad move. Bad move. So the first thing we have to understand when we're going to decide to build a business is, what does it look like at the end, right? And we build backwards. It's like going through a maze. You always want to start from the center and work your way out. It's a lot easier, right? So if you're building a business and you know the goal is to build a business and not build a revenue generation job for yourself.
Okay.
First, you have to come to that equation. Do I want to do this by myself and just make money? I could tell you there's no one person company, billion company, registered company on the stock exchange, Fortune 500 company. Any of those are ran by one person, solely wearing all hats, doing all jobs, doing all of the work. That means if you say that, and for those of you who might be listening who believe, well, I did it. Okay. That means you are a master at the legals of business development. You understand all the law around business. You understand everything around CPAs, accounting, bookkeeping, tax law, marketing, social media, tech development, communications, management, HR policies, HIPAA laws. Just keep going down that list and just say, I mastered all those things. If you did, you're a vampire and you've been on this planet for over 700 years. If not, you're fooling yourself. One of the two. Either you're a vampire or you're fooling yourself. So,
okay. All right, now. So I'm not a vampire, and I'm not fooling myself into thinking that I can do it all and that that's sustainable. But what choice do I have?
First of all, we are fooling ourselves. So I'm not even going to let that slide. We are fooling ourselves when we think we can do it all. And we know it when we find ourselves waking up at 4:30 in the morning, not going to bed to 3 o'clock at night. We put over 18,500 hours into Pillar 5, and that was just me. That doesn't count Tehran Glover. That doesn't count Teplar. That doesn't count all the team members who've been with us from the start. And some of the team members that we have now who've been plugging in a tremendous amount of hours to get to where we are, right? A lot of work. Here's what you do. If I want to start a football team, what's the first thing I got to do? Build a team.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I don't know about football. What do you have? Right? Yes, recruit the team. Got it.
Let's just say I want to build a basketball team. The first thing I got to do is get a basketball team.
Okay. You get the players. Yeah.
Right. So if I want to own a national basketball team that competes as a business, I need a manager, I need trainers, I need health professionals, I need supervisors, I need HR, I need press, I need team
money.
members, I need money, I need good credit, I need a building, I need contractors, I need construction, I need marketing, I need stop.
Okay, so I don't have any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. I still have an idea that I would make the best owner of this team, and I can take this, this team global, so awesome. I don't have any of the things that you said. So for the time being, I'm the one that's going to need to recruit the team. I'm going to need to, do all of the books for, whatever I have to advertise. I have to, paperwork, business. I have to do all of those things.
Business.
Yeah.
Mark Cuban says it best. Him and Damon John has this thing that they say on Shark Tank. And it's been one of my mantras, and I love those guys for that. And that is sales cures all. There's a depthness to that. That just doesn't mean make a sale, make money, go pay your bills. There's a depth to that. If you're making sales, you're proving that the market wants what you have.
Okay.
While you're doing this or proving out your model, you're going to come across people who said the same thing to me when I started building Pillar 5. Oh my gosh, I thought about building something like this 4 years ago, 9 years ago, 20 years ago. Wow. And you know what I say to them? Come join my team. Come join my team.
Okay.
Right? So I immediately start looking for people to support. Not how much money can I make by myself. Listen, I could tell you a story about my mom, and she's probably going to kick me for saying this, but my mom ran a commercial janitorial company in South Florida. And one of the things I used to always say to my mom is hire people. Hire as many people as you can. Make your job finding contracts and then filling them up with the people. And eventually, don't even find the contracts. Get someone to do that. But there was this thing that happened. She started generating revenue. And she was doing really good. But she was working the contracts. And so she didn't want to stop working the contracts because then it would change her revenue, her income. Right. So she was like, well, if I stop working the contracts and start paying, I'm going to get less money. And I'm like, no, if you keep getting more contracts. She's like, yeah, but for right now, I need the revenue. Pause, hard stop. Revenue became the mission, not building a business that was sustainable and capable of running without her. If she had done that the right way, she would have had 2,000 people working for her. She would have never gone back to work, and she would be running a business from wherever she wanted to drink with her toes in the sand and would have never worried about it. But because it became her job, right? How they say, don't work in your business, work on your business.
Yeah.
If she worked on her business, it would still be here. But she worked in her business. So the moment a hardship came about, she was out of business.
Okay, but now I'm still going to push back and challenge you because knowing your story, knowing part of your story, and hearing even your mom's story, until you run into those people, so I don't want to sit idle. I've got this idea. I feel like now is the time to get started on it. I know I'm going to need a team of people, but until I find them, I've got to wear these hats. I mean, okay, so you keep still shaking your head no.
Yeah, and the reason why I continue to shake my head no is because that's one of the biggest mistakes a business owner makes, is because they look at these companies and they go, okay, I'm going to be the chief marketing officer, but you know nothing about marketing. So here's what happens. You start studying marketing. So now you spend time learning marketing. You're not working on your business.
So, okay. So
right?
The only way, no, I agree with you. Believe me.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, right from a perspective of.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Let me just speak to Tehran and I have built this tech company.
Okay.
Neither of us know how to program.
Right.
The first thing we did was create the model of what we wanted. And Tehran today calls it crayon. We write in crayon, right? We do all these drafts and we do all these concepts and these brainstorms of what the idea is. And then we immediately go find an expert to implement it.
Okay.
So we created this crayon, but then we couldn't program. Okay, so what did I do? I went out and started testing it with people on a piece of paper. Does it work? Does the program I'm talking about work? Does this make sense? And when people said, yes, it makes sense, sales cures all, right? In this sense, the sale was just confirmation that it made sense to them. It wasn't a dollar exchange. Again, sales cure alls mean a whole lot different than many people takes it for the superficial dollar amount. And so as we got confirmation that it worked and we started drawing this out, again, we're not programmers.
Yeah.
We're not thinking about marketing. We're not thinking about sales. We're not thinking about bank accounts. We're not thinking about EIN numbers. We're not thinking about structuring a limited liability company. We're not thinking about any of that. We're just trying to prove that what we're doing makes sense and the market wants it. The moment we got that understanding, we immediately went searching for a programmer.
Okay. So now, with that being said, I'm going to concede that point to you.
1 point for Carl. 1 point.
No, I always fashion myself. I used to mess around with the kids, and I was like, okay, I feel like I'm going to always have this court show going on in my head where, let's argue our points and let's see, because I see so many business owners, and myself included. I've fallen prey to that same thing, Carlton, where it's just like, okay, well, I know how to do, I happen to know how to do a lot of the things that need to be done, but to a different skill level. I absolutely hate doing some of them. I ugh, it makes me crazy. But I felt like, well, if I can't pay anyone to do it, and I know I've got people that are willing to help me, but I don't want to take advantage of, there's always that in our heads that stops us, because we do, I know that we value people, but to the way that you broke that down, I think a lot of people need to hear that, stay a visionary, keep casting vision for your company, look at this, talk to people, test to see if it works. So
I want to speak to that just for just a moment, Shanna. As you say, part of building a sustainable business is being a great leader, right? And if you're not, you need to go find a great leader for your organization, and you got to be real with yourself, right? You got to be a great leader, and great leaders don't do it all. Great leaders empower others. So if you bring on a team of people, empower them. So if I'm starting off and someone's like, oh my gosh, I like that, Carl, your logo looks kind of bad. My thing isn't to throw my ego up and go, well, that's the best that I could do. I go, oh yeah, you could do better. Show me. Right? Show me. I'm empowering them. Show me.
Yeah.
Right? And then they go, oh, this is what it looks like. And I go, oh man, that's awesome. You want to do some more drawings for me? How about you partnering with me, doing all of this work? And we could do this together. Do you believe in what I believe in? If so, let's work together. If not, we can partner and work at we can work parallel to one another versus with one another, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so that's been my motto. And that's how I've gone through the process of building teams. Now I've learned more over time how to empower people better, right? And we've had people and we've lost people and we've added more people. And that's going to be a continual thing through the process of building a sustainable business. You're going to add people and lose people as you learn. And you may lose some great people. You might be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I lost that person. I was an idiot. I didn't do that right. But that's the lesson. So that's why I say fall every day, 2 or 3 times, dust it off, get back up. I might fall in a call with a potential client. Oh man, I missed that part of the conversation where they said what they actually needed me for. And so I was talking about something that they didn't need, where if I had just shut my mouth for a second and listened, I would have caught what they needed and I would have been able to serve them. Right? Is that a failure? No, it's a fall. I fell. I get back up. I dust it off. Why? Because I'll call that person back. And I go, move my ego aside. Calvin Pegas said this, the CEO of Icebreaker, you have to run your business without emotion. You have to learn how to do that. And so you have to be able to pick up the phone and call that customer back or potential client back and say, you know what? I thought about our phone call that we had 3 days ago. And I realized I missed what you were saying to me. You were saying you needed this, and I completely missed the mark. I could help you with that. Here's how. And give them a solution, right? And stop trying to sell them. But anyway, that's just wanted to add more to being a great leader. Takes understanding. Go back to Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Immediately when the book opens up, it's the poor dad telling the son, go to school, get an education, get a great job. The rich dad, when he went into the rich dad's house, he was surrounded by advisors, right? So if you don't have team members to do it, so you don't have someone to help you write your marketing plan. Okay, fair enough, Shanna. Fair enough.
I get to wear that hat?
Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go find a marketing advisor and say, Tell me what I need to do.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't want to go learn. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go learn all of this stuff over, because learning all of that is going to take me more time than it takes to build a business.
And I'm a fast learner. I've heard that so many
I
times.
understand.
Yeah.
So is
I've heard that so many times, man. It's just like,
of
but I'm
course,
a super
right?
fast learner. And so I just figured it's going to be faster for me to just go ahead and, now I know how to do this, and I know,
but
jargon,
it's not
jargon, jargon.
sustainable,
Yeah.
right? But it's not sustainable. Being able to bring people to your team, and from that onset, recruiting people to the team and managing the team is the key that you really need to know, because that's how you're going to build a sustainable business. So if you start that at the beginning versus let me hurry up and get to the end, and start understanding, how do I build the process? What is the process? And understanding the process, I think that's one of the things that changes the difference between success and sustainability. Business owners chasing the end result rather than mastering the process of building a sustainable business. There's a difference.
Well, and I think it's what you said right there, understanding the process. I think a lot of people feel like that's what they're doing when they're learning how to do, my social media, how to do, oh, if I get this in, I just need to understand it so that I can give someone direction. And what I'm hearing you say, and I really do like that, is no, you need to understand that social media is part of the process of building the sustainable business. But you need to get someone else with that skill set to come in and say, okay, here's what your social media strategy should look like. Here's what your sales strategy should look like. If I don't have a sales background, now if I do, then I need to go ahead and outline exactly what the way that I want this done, giving free reign to someone that I'm bringing in with hopefully more expertise than I have, to come in and say, hey, this process looks great, but let's modify it here. This is the success that I've had, or if we change this, being flexible and open there, I think is another key. But people do need to understand that by learning every possible tool and every possible role that your company is going to need, that you're not understanding how your business is being run. You're understanding how to do, social media marketing, how to do sales, how to do this. And if you're the only one that, and everyone has a different understanding possibly. So it is a longer, harder route that you're taking there. I just know that, from, again, being completely, transparent, that's something that I felt like I had to do. I've got to take on all of these things because I've been an employee for, more years than I've been an entrepreneur in real life. So I learned a lot of different skills. Working as an admin, I learned how to do everything
Right.
in a lot of companies, because you take on all of the grunt work that your boss doesn't want to do. So guess who knows how to do, pivot tables and charts and graphs and what all of this data means. Your admins understand that. So I felt like, okay, well, I know how to do all of these things and I know these things need to be done, but then that's where I've fallen in that pattern of working in my business, not on it. And it's just, and it's hard to transition out of that. A lot of people, so you miss those opportunities to bring people in, because you're so focused on doing a lot of the work. And I know that that's something that I've worked hard at pulling myself out of. And even hearing you say today, just the way that you're talking about, um, understanding the process, that makes a huge difference for me. It's just like, I know that that's what I should be focused on, is still always putting myself in that position of, um, the visionary. This is where I see my company going. I need your help to come in and help me, put all of these components in place. I don't have time to do all of these things myself if I want to get to that, end goal and help all of these people that I feel like this is going to help.
Right. And so much value in that, Shannon. I think at the end of the day, what you're really saying is, and what I'm saying is, don't be in a rush to get to the level. Don't be in a rush to get to success. It's not overnight. We see these companies pop up, and we hear that they've got bought out for $2 billion or $3 billion. And in the wildest dreams of our mind, we're going, "Oh my God!
What?
Oh, I'm about to build one. I'm about to
I'm
be
gonna
a
blow
millionaire."
up.
And we're dancing and jumping around because we got one sale. See, I'm on my way. I'm about to make $1 billion. And yeah, that's really positive, and that's really good things in making that sale and confirming that the market wants what you have, and they like the way you delivered it, because if they didn't, they wouldn't have paid for it. They would have went and bought it from someone else unless you have something very unique in the marketplace. And as we know, unique items are harder to put out in the market because you got to educate the market on something that's unique. So if you're building something that no one's ever heard of or saw, it's harder because they have nothing to associate it with. They have nothing to compare it with. And they'd rather not have it until someone else tells them it was good. Then they want to try it, right? Just one of those things. Aside from food, people will try food all day long. I got nacho fries. What? Nacho fries? Fries with cheese in it. Well, I would try that. But
it don't even have to be new. It doesn't even have to be new. You took some fries and you took some nacho cheese sauce, and now all of a sudden you've made this brand new thing. It's brand new, and everyone is like, and I'll admit, Taco Bell, y'all got my heart, because that's brilliant. I'm not even a big fan of cheese, but I'm like, nacho fries. I like fries. I like cheese sauce. Look at you,
right. It's so, as we go through this process of failure, it's heart-wrenching for me, because that's why we started this process at the beginning, seeing these businesses fail, and the more money they received from funding, the faster they failed. It was unbelievable to see the numbers and how fast people were failing. The more money they got to start their business, the faster they failed, because they thought that cushion was going to be their rocket fuel. And it takes me back to the heavyweight fighters, the heavyweight champions of the world, right? You can't show me a heavyweight champion in the United States of America that came from a well-to-do family. You just can't. There is none.
Huh.
And the reason why,
I'm gonna
look it up. Look it up. I've been challenged many times.
You keep talking.
Fact check that thing. The reality is, there's this drive, there's this tenacity that's just built into that. I got to get out of the ghetto. I got to get out of the projects. I got to get out of poverty, and I'm going to fight my way out of it. And I've been knocked down 100 times, in the streets. So I don't care about being the wealthiest, the richest, youngest heavyweight champion of the world. Mike Tyson, where is he from? Brownsville, New York, the hood. Let's go to Muhammad Ali. Where is he from? The hood. Buster Douglas, where is he from? The hood. Sonny Liston, where is he from? The hood. Let's just keep going. Anyone you name, even the Bull, the hood, the projects, no matter where you go, they were all starving. They were all hungry. And that's why they fought as hard as they did. It was bred into them, right?
Okay, so the fact check is finished. And for the most part, I feel like you're right. I don't know any of the people that they mentioned that had. I'll keep it real. They put some names out there, and I'm like, oh, I don't know any of those people. Gentlemen, Jack Willie, or so, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah. So, all right, I'm going to concede that point. See, you're winning. You are.
Well, it's not about winning. It's just so that the audience can get the reality, and it's the same thing when you're building a business, right? Mm-hmm. And people say, oh, you've had $300,000 to build your business. If I had $300,000 to build my business, I would have ... Right? They finished that with how far they would have gone. But here's the reality. Those who start with $0 and get to $100,000 will learn and master things that people starting with 300,000 getting to $1 million won't ever learn, because they have to grind. There's a different grind. Even on the Shark Tank, I love it. They're like, go out there and grind. Go get it. You know what I'm saying? Go Go get the feel of the street. Go get 1,000 no's. Go understand why they're telling you no. And don't come up in a Shark Tank expecting us to hand you a check because you have a good idea. A good idea may be a good idea, but that doesn't make you a great business owner.
Right.
There's a difference in that. It might be an awesome idea. And if you're not the one to take it to market, go find, again, team. Go find the team of people who can represent you and take what you have to market. Right?
Yeah.
That's what you do. You don't try to take it to market because it's mine. It's mine. It's mine.
And it's such a hard thing, though, Carl. I mean, again, I'll have to just speak for myself. I don't know about you, but it was such a hard thing for me at first. That pride, that ego, just holding on so tightly to it. And it's just like, but it was never meant for you. I mean, those truly great ideas are never meant for you. They're not meant to serve you. They're meant to serve others, and to hold on to that so selfishly. It's a challenge because it is kind of your baby, there is no, or I guess there is a really good reason that a lot of people do liken, building a business to, having a baby. This was your brainchild, your idea that came, you're seeing come to life, and you want to nurture that. You want to see it grow up the way that you want it to. But I mean, let's keep it real. As a parent, my children didn't always make the decisions and, do all of the things that I wanted them to do. I love them anyway. And I wanted to encourage them, or I guess it's the same thing with the business, that I look at that, that type of relationship where I can't control every aspect of it. Right. What I can do is look and say, okay, I want you to grow up to be a productive member of society. So let me encourage you in looking at the way that things are changing, society, technology, all of these influences, everything that comes into this. It's going to be beautiful. And in the end, I'm going to get that. So the same thing. And it's going to require other people. There's going to be influences that I can control and influences I can't. Right. But it is going to take that village to do it on both sides of it. And it may not look exactly like you want it to look. Right. But it is going to look like, the more people that you have involved that you really trust, it will look like it's supposed to. It will serve the people that it's supposed to serve, as long as you're open to letting go a little bit, not focusing so much on, I've got to have my baby the way that I want it. And this is, well, then you're only going to have a business that serves you. You're going to be so limited.
Wow. I want to speak to that. There's two things I wanted to share, but right at the end, you said something that really caught my attention. And that is Mark Lemonis has a show called The Profit. Now, Mark Lemonis is an investor, a multi-million-dollar investor who goes out, who helps business owners get their business on track. He finds the businesses that are failing. That's the word, right? That people like to use, but essentially they're falling. Yeah. And they're really close to the position of failure, where the owners are saying, if I don't get an infusion of capital, my business is going to shut down in 3 weeks. I'm not going to be able to do payroll. We're going to close the store. We're going to walk away, right? And 9 times out of 10, that issue isn't money. It's an internal issue with people. It's an internal issue with the process. Mm-hmm. If you fix those two, profits will come. So that just goes back to understanding process, right? But the reason I brought that up is because when I lost my train of thought right there, but when a business owner says, oh my gosh, I want to speak to what you were just saying. Wow, I went too deep down into Mark Lemonis' rabbit hole. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. On one of the episodes of the show, on the show with Mark Lemonis, one of the episodes was this young lady who had this salsa, right? This hot sauce that she came out with. And she was doing it all by herself, right? She was doing pretty good. She was doing it all by herself. She wasn't making millions of dollars, but she was doing pretty good. She was within inside of that same range, 86%, generating less than $250,000 a year. But he tasted the salsa. He thought it was amazing, right? Great. So what's wrong? Why is it not selling? Well, it wasn't packaged right. She didn't understand how things were packaged and put on the shelf. She had no understanding of that market. She had no understanding of retail store exhibits and shelf racking, and it's a lot of information to
Yeah.
understand. You might be great at cooking it, but you may not know about market placement, shelf placement, eye level for customers walking by. Who's buying it, man or woman? If man is buying it, put it 6 foot tall. Woman's buying it, put it 5'3". Do you know the difference between that? What's on the label, woman or guy? Nothing, red, blue, yellow. Like all of that makes a difference. But anyway, he said, how about we reconsider changing the label and see if we can improve sales?
No. Oh.
So she came, she did a presentation, she had the same label. The first thing the store said was, can you change the label? So he came back and he said, I thought we had this discussion. I thought I asked you to change the label. She started crying. She cried because of the label. She cried because the image that she put so much energy into and put on that bottle had so much personal representation of herself that to change the label to her meant defacing her, taking her off of the bottle.
Wow.
So she cried. She bawled. But guess what? They did it. That's one of those hard pains that you run into in your business. They did it. They changed the label. Voila. Instantly, other retailers were buying cases of it to put on their shelf.
Wow.
Right? But sometimes we, like you said, it's our baby. You can't tell me how to run my baby. That's what I'm dressing my baby in, and that's what it is. And if you don't like it, I'm out of here. Right? But the reality is, as entrepreneurs, and you're right, it's just like a child. We don't become principals of schools just because we have a child. We don't become math teachers, English teachers, physics teachers, biology teachers, smarter than a fifth grader. Ever seen that show? Yeah. Most fifth graders are smarter than this guy right here. Right? I would be wrong to even try to go and learn every grade of school and then become a teacher for every grade of school because I have a child. That would be ludicrous. And then they want to go to college. So now I got to become a college professor and find out what they want to learn and then become a master at that so I can raise my child the right way. That would be idiotic. That would be idiotic for me to do that. And it would be the same thing to a business owner. Don't go learn all that stuff. Get the experts. Here's what you can do. You can determine what school they go to. You can go pick the good relation. You can build the right community around them. Let me get you in the right networking group. Let me get you in the right community. Let me associate with the right people, get the right advisors, the right mentors, and put you all around my business, around my baby, around my child, and you will help it to grow. And if I fall off the plane, I know they're around a good village that will raise them in the right direction. And that's how you build a business in the same way. Failure is not required, but you can still choose to do it. It's a proven way to eventually get where you're going, but it's not required.
All right. I mean, I guess we could have mic dropped there. No, I agree with you. There's a couple other things that I wanted to talk about that I think business owners need to know or would appreciate knowing, because again, if you don't want to spend the 10 minutes reading it, and okay, 15 max, but if you don't want to spend the 15 minutes reading the chapter, I wanted to highlight some things that really, listen and hear this. One of the things that stood out, you've got in here, talking about failing forward. The consequences of this path include not enough time, lack of financial resources, not seeing results from actions, limited growth, and being stuck wearing all the hats of your business. Which, since we've conceded the point that you should not and do not have to wear all of the hats, there is a way of doing this without, getting into that habit to begin with. So let's talk about that, because you've laid out some, clearly detrimental behaviors and results of I guess that type of behavior. So failing forward, if failure is not required, and these are the end results of choosing that path, how do you avoid that altogether starting out?
Starting out is very clear. Understand your purpose and your why when you go into building your business and align that with your passion. If you're doing something that you don't like to do, you're probably not going to stick to it. If you're hustling, look in the mirror and call yourself a hustler. Say, I'm hustling. I'm trying to generate as much revenue as I can. I'm not trying to build a sustainable business. I'm just trying to move through the process. Here's the thing. If you're trying to do that, don't register an LLC. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your money. You're wasting your energy. And you're causing the statistics of the death rate of small businesses in the United States to be miscrewed. That's it. That's the reality, right? Understand that. Then once you determine what you have and you realize what you're going to build and you can understand what that exit looks like in your mind, because you have this wild dream, we all do. Oh, I'm going to build this company. It's going to look like this. I'm going to have an office with 300 people. My headquarters is going to have this shiny logo on the top. I'm going to be on the 30th floor. I'm going to have drivers and I'm going to buy a boat and I'm going to go on vacation every Thursday and I'm going to play golf and I'm going to buy the latest suits and I'm going to be on the next Grammy Award sitting in the front seat. My name's going to be at the next UFC fight. My name's going to be in my advertisement's going to be in the Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. We go through all these imaginations in our world. And there's nothing wrong about that because that motivates us to go. And that's all cool. But once you understand where you're trying to go, understand you can't get there by yourself. And immediately start looking for people to support you. Mentors, advisors, and then teammates. Right? And if you do it in that order, you'll be okay. Because mentors are going to tell you you're not being realistic with yourself. Advisors are going to go, okay, you're realistic. Let me kind of tell you some of the directions you may need to go in. Right? And then your teammates will go, let me help you do what we're doing on the process to get where your advisors were telling you to go, right? And many business owners don't even believe that they need a board of directors. Oh my God, Carl, why would I need a board of directors? It's just me. Well, board of directors keeps us in line with the purpose, the mission and vision of the company for the benefit of the shareholder. And if that shareholder happens to be you, basically they're going to remove the emotion from the situation. Because you may make a decision based off of money today. And they're going to make a decision off of the well-being of the company tomorrow.
Right.
So they're going to keep you on track for longevity. That's the goal, not to let you burn out. And to kind of keep you kind of like LeBron James, right? If he didn't have the right advisors and the mentors and a board around him, he would have burnt out. Right? He would have came in, he would have made a bunch of money, and he would have left. But no, he's still here. He's still here, and he's still making a bunch of money, and he's still here, right? So you want that longevity, especially when you're dealing with clients as a coach. Let's speak to the coaches for a second. You don't want a client for 30 days. You don't want a client for 3 months. You want a client for 3 years. You want that client to always rely on you all the way through the process from start to finish of their business. You want to be in the longevity of that client's life, them always relying on you for advice, direction, accountability, and other networks and experts to associate with. A business owner shouldn't have to go through 30 coaches to build a business. They should get one. But the problem is these coaches, and I'm going to be kind here, take on the role of consultants by trying to do the work for the client instead of holding the client accountable. And then they realize they can't advise the client. All they could do is do this thing. And then they do this thing and then they walk away. And it's normally not the client walking away, it's them. Right. Because they're not listening to the client's needs. So don't take on all the roles of the job. Go get an assessment. Here's the first thing that you got to do is know where your business is. Here's another thing. Let me add to that pile. You got to know where your business is. But if you're just starting, you know where your business is.
Right.
It's at the ground floor. Well, let's just back this up. Since the conception of life cycle stages in the 1800s, there's been no roadmap developed to guide a business owner from A to Z. That is from seed stage to startup to growth through expansion into maturity and exit. There's been no roadmap to do that. Zero. So business owners have kind of had to figure out what makes sense along the way for them by listening to YouTube, listening to friends, going to Facebook, getting information, This is what I think. This is what I feel. I'm going to go this way because I think it makes sense. So there's no roadmap. So if they would just identify where they are in their business, it's like a GPS, right? And I kind of point to that analogy in the book. Identify where you are, and if it's at the beginning, it's even easier. Then turn on your GPS, plug in the destination, and follow the directions. Don't go off course. Stay on the directions, right? So if they do that, that could help them avoid failure. It would reduce failure of many businesses in this country because, again, many businesses, it's not that they intentionally set out to fail. They
Right.
just don't know better. No one's gave them an instruction manual. Well, that's why we wrote this chapter. Failure is not required. Understanding life cycle stages, understanding the steps you need to take, which leads all the way back to pillar 5 at the end of the day, right? That software is built specifically to guide people from A to Z. And we don't just talk about it, we be about it. We eat our own dog food, which is why, Shannon, you made the comment, when you look at I Do Systems, our company that built pillar 5, you can see how sustainable it is versus many other companies that are of the same age that may be making 3 times more money, 10 times more money than we are. But if the wind blows tomorrow, they're out of there.
Yeah.
Right? It'll take a tornado, a tsunami, a category 5 hurricane, an earthquake, and a fire to take us out. And we'll still be there when it's all settled. Right?
All right. Okay, so last but not least, the last thing that spoke out to me, and you have, I feel like, made this point several times. You've got a tip in here. You can't achieve your dream by yourself. It will take a team who believes in your purpose to help you reach your goal. So that was pretty amazing.
Oh yeah. The key to that is that they believe in your purpose. That's the key. Not that they believe in you. There's a difference. Because if you fall down, the next leader, they're not going to believe it and they're going to walk away. They have to believe in the purpose. Why are you doing it? And that should be the question they ask you. You know, Shanna, kind of like when you and I met, the first thing you said was, why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? As soon as I explained why, you were like, oh my gosh.
I'm in.
I'm in. Right?
Yeah.
I'm in. Everyone I spoke to, they go, what is your purpose? And I explain, they go, oh my gosh, I'm in.
Yeah.
They're not in because of me. They may like my energy, which starts the conversation. They may like, you know, this bald head smile. I don't know. But at the end of the day, once the purpose is let out, that's going to determine whether or not they stay or go. Right? That's what's going to hold on forever. Like, kind of like your child. Your child goes to school, they get into trouble, they get into a fight, they disrespect your name, they embarrass you in front of all your friends and families and whatever. You don't take the child down to the orphanage and say, I'm dropping this one off. I'm done. I'm out.
They won't take them.
I don't want them no more. See, you tried. See, that's bad. Bad mama. Bad mama. You don't take them and just go drop them off, right? You make the corrective actions. At the end of the day, it's about communication, right? If you go back to the old days, they just grab a switch off the tree and just start whooping your ass, right? And if you go way back, they whoop your ass and talk to you, like Eddie Murphy used to say, right? Every time they swing, they saying something, but you can't hear nothing because you're too busy screaming and crying because it hurt. So you can't hear nothing they saying to you. And they asking you, did you hear me? And you can't respond. So they keep hitting you because you didn't hear them and respond to the fact that they asking you, did you hear them? Craziest thing in the world. But the reality is, if you just communicate it, here's what my expectations are. And here's where you failed in those expectations or fallen in those expectations would be the right sense of the word, right? Because fail means you don't have an opportunity to fix it.
Right.
Right. So if they've fallen in this opportunity, then make the corrective actions and move on. Same thing you should do with your business. If it falls in an area, make the corrective actions and move on. Facebook is going through a whole lot right now, right? Everyone's challenging them about hate messages and racism and misusing the algorithm to, promote more market. All of this stuff. They didn't fail. They didn't fail in this, right? They have fallen on an issue that needs to be addressed. It's not a fail, right? So we just gotta make those adjustments. So back to the point is having people around you who believe in your purpose, and they have to believe in your purpose. The reason parents are hard on children because they believe that the child could be a better person, that they have this expectation for them to be wherever they're going to be in life. And so that's the purpose. And that's why they're so motivated by them. Some parents have that misaligned. They want their child to be better than them, or, whatever these analogies are. But the truth of it is, you want the child to be the best person the child could be for them, not for us, but for them. Be
Yeah.
unselfish. And so that's the same thing with the people who come into your company. They want to be the best they could be for the company, not for you, but for the company, because they believe in the mission of the company. And if they don't believe in the mission of the company, unless you're hiring them as an employee, you probably don't want them on your executive team as a mentor and as an advisor. And if you have a choice, I wouldn't employ someone who doesn't believe in the mission of the company, right? A nun is not going to go work for an X-rated company,
Right.
Because I don't believe in that, right? Some people have religious preferences where they don't eat certain things. They're not going to go somewhere where that certain thing is being sold. Or, I could be a doctor, but I don't believe in, I'm pro-life.
Right.
I'm not going to go work in a clinic that's not pro-life,
Right.
right? You got to align the purpose. And if you do that, you could build a super power team around you. And don't be in a rush to build a team. It takes time. It's like getting in a relationship. It takes time. You don't meet someone tomorrow and get married the day after. I mean, you might.
My word.
Might. I know
Likelihood
I
pretty
believe in
slim.
so many things, so that could happen. But I mean, how many people really find their soulmate in this life? I mean,
Yeah.
But that's just my perspective. Again, it's a perspective. But at the end of the day, you have to line up with your purpose. And that's how you build a great team around you.
That is fantastic. All right, everyone, we're wrapping up with Carlton Hoskins, founder of I Do Systems, the innovative tech company that provides small business owners with a system to identify and smash through growth roadblocks so they can beat the death rate statistics and achieve more than 250K in annual revenue. So thank you, Carlton. You're reminding us failure is what?
Not required.
All right, then.
It's a choice.
Okay, so that would be that. So
Wow.
I like the conversational feel of that.
Cool.
Just back and forth. I think there are elements. This cat is making me crazy. I've got too much going on here. I think there are elements that we can bring in that. I'll get the recording, and then I'll look at, just kind of see that, and then we can polish it. But I don't know. How do you feel?
Here's what I think. I loved it.
Okay.
I love it. I love the feel of that. I think for the show, from a process perspective, I think for the show, what you do is you go through, like, you do your whole thing, right? 2 parts of this thing. You do your show, or right now we'll just call this piece this is the discovery phase of you starting your own show in my head, right? Here's what I think. I think we do segments, like you talk to authors or whatever, and then you snip. You do it just like they would do on CNBC or any other news station. You take that whole conversation and you edit it down to just the 5-minute keys or 10-minute keys that you want. 7 minutes, like you have complete control, and dump that out there, right? Check out my interview with so-and-so. Yeah, it was a great interview. Boop, and just play it. And it just cuts through, right? to show the interview process that you're going through, because now you're just now you're interviewing, and capturing that content, and then having that content the way you just did it. Now you could break that into your own show and do, okay, well, for the Better Your Business show, I gave y'all 6 or 7 minutes of content. Hear more of the conversation by coming to the Shanna show, right?
Right.
Right. And on the Shanna show, you're going to get 15 minutes of the conversation. But if you want to watch the whole interview, like they do on 60 Minutes, if you want to watch the whole interview,
there's a link.
Go to the link and go check out the whole 1 hour episode that I spent. Hear all the backscene stuff, all the edits, all the however you want to do that.
Yeah.
And so you can repurpose much of that content in different areas. In fact, I have to do 14 videos, right? And I have to put out 2 videos a week for the book.
I know.
This is so easy. If you help me scrape 3 minutes of content, batch them into 3-minute sections, I would be done already. I wouldn't have to do no more videos. I wouldn't have to do no more videos. You could just batch them together and go, here's a 3-minute section, Carl. And I could just take it and play it, right? You asking a question or you interacting, me talking, right? Boom, that content's out. It becomes a social media content.
Yeah.
Right. And then it ends with go learn, go, be ready for the book, Brilliant Business Breakthroughs, volume 5, and it comes to an end. It's like a 3-minute, here's a snippet.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if you wanted to do that on if you really want to get a bunch of content, I will line all these authors up.
Yeah, I think we should, if the feel of this, and as long as I can get their chapters ahead of time, so I can pull some of those things out that that I know business owners are struggling with, where we say that, and I do want to look at, even with you, if this was good, and we can use what I'll grab content for you out of this for sure. But I'm thinking about, there are there's still that practical piece missing, and you've given some good information in there, and we may be able to, in my head, I'm just trying to figure out how to use all of that. But yeah, I would love to talk to, the others as well, and see what we can do with this, and just kind of get the flow down. Understand more and more what people are looking for, what's interesting, what's not, what gets in there. And yeah. But you've got 15 minutes. I've got to run here.
Okay.
But yes, I will try and log in here, download this, and then
I could download it for you.
Okay. If you do that, drop it somewhere, and